Greetings and welcome to first lecture on unit number 4, that is fluid dynamics. This lecture we will cover only the introduction part of fluid dynamics. Previously we have already covered the two subdomains of the fluid mechanics, that is fluid statics and fluid kinematics. In fluid statics we have discussed the behavior of fluid when it is at rest. In fluid kinematics we have discussed or studied the behavior of fluid when it is in motion. But restrict the analysis only with the velocity and acceleration. Forces causing the motion we have not considered in kinematics. And that part we do cover in this fluid dynamics, where we study the motion of the fluid particles considering the forces causing the motion. So as far as this fluid dynamics is concerned, this chapter includes the study of forces causing the motion. Thus, the dynamics of fluid flow is the study of fluid motion with the forces causing the flow. The dynamic behavior of the fluid is mainly analyzed using Newton's second law of motion, and which relates to acceleration with the forces. So according to Newton's second law of motion, summation of all the forces involved, that is equal to mass into acceleration. So during the course of analysis of dynamics, this Newton's second law of motion acts as a fundamental equation for analysis. We can realize here how the dynamics, this is the picture which shows how much force is generated here. That is, what is the magnitude we can realize that pressure force has when the water is released from the dam, and a huge amount of force is generated because that force is generally the pressure force. And the pressure force is responsible for the movement of this particular water at a very high speed. Generally in rainy season, you might have visualized this type of flow. So this is about the types of forces. This is about the dynamics. Generally, there are various forces acting on a fluid mass, and these forces are mainly classified into three types, that is a body or volume force, surface force, and the line force. As far as the body or volume force is concerned, the force which are proportional to the volume of the body or mass of the body is known as body or volume force. In this category, there are weight, that is a gravity force, centrifugal force, magnetic force, and electromagnetic force comes. As far as fluid mechanics is concerned, the two important forces are their gravity force. So here we can say the fluid is flowing because of the gravity from one level to another level. So even though there is a rise, but whatever the force is generated here, that force is sufficient enough to push that particular water from this point here, and again from this point onward it flows due to gravity. So this way the water can flow from high level to low level. So whenever there is an elevation between 2 points, then the gravity force comes in the picture. So this gravity force is because of the weight of this fluid, that is potential energy is associated with this. Then the centrifugal force, where all the rotodynamic machines work on centrifugal force, like pump, we can say a turbine, hydraulic turbines. So where with the help of this mechanical energy, the water is taken from the center and then it is released from the sideway, released radially with a very high pressure. And this rotation, it creates a very high centrifugal force depending upon the speed of the rotation. And this centrifugal force, it generates the pressure energy later on. So these are called as the body forces, where the forces are, in order to calculate the forces, we require either volume of the fluid or mass of the fluid. So for example, for centrifugal force, it is 1/2 mv square, so mass comes there. And for gravity force, it is weight, that is mass into gravitational acceleration. So when we require mass during the calculation of forces, then it is called as a body force. Mass is nothing but density into volume, so mass or volume if it is required, then it is called as a body or volume force. The second category, that is surface force. In this case, when the forces are proportional to the surface area, they are known as surface forces. So under this category, we have a pressure force, shear or tangential forces, force of compressibility, and force due to turbulence. So in order to calculate these forces, the area is required. Suppose here the pressure force. Now, in order to push the liquid from point 1 to point 2, so unless and until the fluid is having pressure, the fluid will not flow in opposite direction, because there is a opposite gravity force is acting on the fluid, so which resists the fluid, and that is acting downward. So in order to overcome this particular force, the pressure force is required. So unless and until the fluid is pressurized, the fluid cannot flow from this point to this point. So in order to calculate this pressure force, this cross-sectional area is considered multiplied by pressure. So pressure into area, that is called as a pressure force. So here the area is required. Secondly, viscous force, where the it is also called as a frictional force or tangential force. So this force is acting around the circumference. So here we can consider the circumference area of the spherical ball, that is 4 pi r square. So circumference area, the area which comes in contact with the fluid, that is considered for shear forces. So suppose if the ball is falling on this particular liquid, its speed of falling is mainly depend on the viscosity of the fluid. If the viscosity, if the fluid is very thin, then we can say that ball moves at a faster rate. If it is thick, its velocity decreases, because the viscosity force is resists the motion of this particular ball. This is a force due to viscosity, or it is called as a viscous force or shear force or tangential force. We also call it a frictional force. Then comes the force due to compressibility, where the compressibility, that is bulk modulus of elasticity. This force is force that is equal to bulk modulus of elasticity into area. Again, area is normal area, like this area, flow area we can say. And the force due to turbulence, again, like the shear force also, here only the dynamic shear stress value or eddy shear stress or eddy viscosity is considered for calculating the force due to turbulence. Here the shears, that is shear stress, that is turbulent shear stress multiplied by area, again shear area. So these are the forces associated, or these are the forces related with the surface forces, where especially the area is considered for calculating the forces. So these are the categories related with the fluid flow. The third category of forces, that is called as the line force. In this particular case, the force which are proportional to the length or circumference, they are known as line forces. Example given, the force due to surface tension. So because of the surface tension, suppose if we insert a glass tube in the water contain or in a container containing water, so you can realize here there is a level increase. So the liquid rises into this thin tube, and this lifting of this liquid is because of the surface force, and this surface force is responsible to lift the water inside the capillary tube, and this is generally obtained by, that is T, suppose surface tension into circumference area, that is 2 pi r or pi d. So if it is related with the length, so or circumference, we can say this is called as surface tension. Only one category is there, surface tension force. So these are the three categories of the forces. They are mainly described based on the geometry considered for calculation of the forces. If the volume is considered, then it is called as a volume force or body force. If area is considered for calculation of forces, then it is called as a surface force. And if only circumference or length is considered, then it is called as a line force. Whenever the fluid is flowing, the following forces are generally present in fluid flow. So this is a typical system where the fluid flow takes place. Now, in this case, the gravity force exists whenever the fluid is flowing from high level, is generally from high level to low level. Then the gravity force exists. Suppose here the gravity force is acting because this is a high level, this is at low level. So here the gravity force it resists. So in order to resist that, this pump is used because it's this particular fluid is flowing against the action of gravity. So the gravity force is exist in this particular zone. We can see. Then the pressure force is there. Suppose if the fluid is flowing from low level to high level, then the pressure force is required to lift that particular fluid. Like here, it is for lifting it is used, and this is called as a pressure force. Uh, Gravity force, that earlier diagram we have seen, when the fluid is flowing from high level to low level, then no other force is required. So only gravity force is sufficient to flow the fluid from high level to low. Then force due to viscosity, which is also called as a frictional force because this fluid possesses some viscosity. Now, even the fluid is at the same level, still pump is required because to overcome the frictional forces or to overcome the viscous forces offered by this fluid. So sometimes the pump is required not only to lift the water, but to make the flow possible through a large piping, because the pipe length, if it exceeds 1 meter, generally frictional forces are considerable. So the force due to viscosity is also present in this particular case. Then force due to turbulence, you can see here the reactor, the fluid, if it is moving at a very high speed, then it creates turbulence. So here you can see the turbulence. So here we have to consider the force due to turbulence as well. So generally, if the velocity exceeds, as per as the inflow is concerned, if the velocity exceeds the certain level, that is as per the Reynolds number, if it exceeds 4,000, then the turbulent flow it creates. And for turbulent flow, this force we have to consider. Then come force due to compressibility. So generally for flow of incompressible fluid is regarded as this particular force is neglected. Force of flow of compressible fluid, force due to compressibility is generally considered. So here, this is a compressible fluid when it flows from here that generator to the turbine. And when it moves to the turbine, then the force due to compressibility we cannot neglect because there is a continuously changing the, and especially it is considered for a very high velocity. If the velocity exceeds sonic velocity, then in even compressible flow, that force due to compressibility is considered. Otherwise, for subsonic flow, even for compressible fluid, it is neglected. But in some liquid cases also, compressibility, force due to compressibility is considered, like water hammer effect or sudden closure of wall in the penstock, where the pressure is very high, around the 400, 300 bar pressure is there. And in that pressurized fluid, if it is suddenly stopped, then the entire fluid is bombarding on the wall and it creates a compression of that fluid. And there we cannot neglect that force due to compressibility. So that is due to compressibility. And force due to surface tension. The force due to surface tension is generally exists for two-phase flow. That is the mixture of vapor and liquid. So for example, in the generator here, you can say there is a mixture of liquid and vapor. So here, if there is a interface, that is liquid vapor interface, then force due to surface tension we have to consider. So these are the 6 types of forces generally present in the fluid flow cases. But generally force number 6, that is force due to surface tension, is not present for single phase fluid. Single phase flow, that is the only liquid flow or only gas flow. Our undergraduate syllabus, so as far as fluid mechanics is concerned, we are only dealing with the single phase flow. That's why this force due to surface tension is most of the cases is neglected. Now, based on the consideration of these forces, some equation of motions are defined. So according to, again, the Newton's second law of motion, summation of all these forces equal to mass into acceleration. So all 6 forces, if we consider, that is equal to mass. So most generalized equation of motion, we can say, where summation of all these forces involved, that is equal to mass into acceleration. But depending upon the applications, some forces are neglected. Especially as per the undergraduate syllabus is concerned, we neglect force due to compressibility and force due to surface tension. So these two forces are generally negligible for single phase incompressible flow. So that means only four forces are remaining. That is one, two, three, four. That is gravity force, pressure force, viscous force, and force due to turbulence. That is equal to mass into acceleration. This particular equation, that is equation number 2, is called as Reynolds equation of motion. And this equation is generally applicable for turbulent flow, where all these forces are considered along with the turbulent flow. So if the force is Ft, that is for non-turbulent flow, the force due to turbulence is negligible in equation 2. So again, equation 2 is reduced to only three forces. That is force due to gravity, force due to pressure, force due to viscosity, as equal to 0. So this is not there. That is force due to turbulence is not there. So if the only three forces are considered, then the resulting equation of motion, that is called as a Navier-Stokes equation. So in Navier-Stokes equation, which is generally applicable for viscous flow, or we can say for laminar flow. If the flow is assumed to be ideal and viscous, the ideal then viscous force is negligible. Means again in the above equation, actually this is not there. In the above equation, this Navier-Stokes equation, only three forces are considered: force due to gravity, force due to pressure, and force due to viscosity. For ideal flow, again, the force due to viscosity is also negligible. This is most ideal equation of motion, that is Euler's equation of motion. So these are the three equations generally associated with the fluid motion for incompressible single phase flow. And based on the consideration of the forces, these equations are defined. So Reynolds equation of motion, four forces are considered: gravity force, pressure force, viscous force, and turbulent force. In Navier-Stokes equation, only three forces are considered, that is gravity force, pressure force, and viscous force. And in Euler's equation of motion, only two forces are considered, that is gravity force and pressure force. So these are the three types of equation of motion. So that's it from this particular session. At the end of this particular session, you should be able to describe various types of forces involved in fluid flow, the various categories of forces like body force or volume force or line force, and the different types of forces involved or present in the fluid flow. Like there are 6 forces considered, and depending upon the consideration of forces, some equations of motions are defined. Three equations, that is Reynolds equation of motion, Navier-Stokes equation of motion, and Euler's equation of motion. So depending upon the consideration of forces. So generally pressure force and gravity force is present everywhere, even for ideal flow also. But if the viscosity force is added, then it becomes a Navier-Stokes equation. And further, if we add force due to turbulence, then it is called as a new Reynolds equation of motion. So the next lecture we will discuss the Euler's equation of motion. So Euler's equation of motion is considered as a equation for ideal fluid. So with this, we have completed this session. Thank you very much.